Good afternoon, and welcome to the 8th episode of Shopify Kryptonite, the official vlog of Woolman and Shopify. My name is Teemu Tolonen, and I have my great colleague Mikko Rekola here with me. Hi, Mikko.
Hello, people.
We're going to go into the aftermath of Shopify Reunite. It wasn't a live event this year, previous to compared years. We weren't there in Toronto in person, but we were kind of monitoring all the new publishments that Shopify did in the event, and we're going to go through the most important topics from those. But before we jump into the actual agenda, Mikko, what is the tip of the week for week 8?
Tip of the week for all of your marketers is that go through your Facebook pixel. If you have several stores, as happens in many European countries, make sure that you are always measuring the right Facebook pixel, and then you are using those conversion events with that pixel and that store. So that's a very European issue, as you might have several versions of your store, several languages, several stores, especially for Plus clients. So always go through your Facebook pixels, double check them, make sure that you're aligned.
Have you seen some mistakes recently?
Daily, 2 to days. So that's definitely a hot potato, easy to fix, easy to look. If you have Chrome browser installed, you can have even like Pixel Helper, which will find that pixel, or then you can find that in a couple of other ways, but that's something that is very key. Otherwise, you can't like optimize your campaigns, and all of the data on Facebook is completely wrong. So that's sort of a biggie.
That's perfect advice. At least you're going to save your money and not spend anything on kind of wrong analytics, wrong.
Definitely.
Shopify has been announcing some huge increases in their traffic in all of their Shopify shops. I think there's more than 1 million Shopify shops already in global perspective. So we're getting more traffic now. We're getting as much traffic that we got in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday session, which is always an annual peak. I think this is kind of proving the point that we've been saying in the previous episodes, that e-commerce is and will be a winner. What do you think? What do you make you think? If looking at our customer shops or the trends in general, is this something that surprises or doesn't surprise you?
I would say that from like European point of view, even from a like Finnish point of view or Swedish point of view or Dutch point of view, this is people huge. So e-commerce is the future. It's already something that exists now, and just like highlights what we've been saying before, that Shopify is the platform. It's giving very good solutions for all B2C brands, especially like direct-to-consumer type of brands. But it works very well with like service e-commerce and even in some simplistic B2B cases. So this is the future. I completely agree with the fact that we should focus on doing business online, and seems to work very well. Out of our customer and client cases, the majority have been growing. Of course, there are clear winners and losers in the situation, but now past like 2 to 3 weeks, seems that the situation is getting more stable, which then like means that people are back online and shopping as before or even more.
Personally, I'm a bit worried that kind of in my own shop, where we're kind of still seeing a lot of traffic, but it's converting pretty slowly. I think that's going to switch into a better conversion when we are in the season even more, and we know that can we travel or can't we travel. But we're kind of still halfway on the throttle that we're going to actually pull this and scale the business this year or onward. So it's kind of keeping a close touch on what's happening in the analytics.
Right.
And kind of speaking of being on the top of things, I think Shopify did some quick announcements in the Reunite. One of them was that they are kind of introducing services that will benefit small businesses like restaurants, somebody who will need a local pickup or local delivery. So I have my cheat sheet here. So they were now they were now announcing that they have the local delivery options that you can actually pick up under shipping. You can find the pickup under shipping settings if you have more than or less than 20 locations, and you can kind of offer already the local delivery or the local pickup for your current customers. And then the new thing was that they did the express theme for restaurants, so you don't have to have that much of content or kind of categories on the side. You want to probably offer the weekly menu for your office customers close by, so they can come and choose the lunch that they want and kind of have it set up ready for pickup already. What do you think in bigger picture? Is local pickups or local deliveries something which will be increasing after the crisis is over?
I would say so. That's been a growing trend, and looking at all the reports and all the data, that seems to be something that is like a hot topic. Also will be during the summer and most likely for the very future. And I love the way how Shopify is actually like supporting all sort of businesses. So we are always like talking about these direct to consumer brands in fashion or in any other business, but you can do all sort of business online, and online can sort of like help you out. And we have even like our existing clients who are selling like grocery bags or food in different ways. So, and Shopify works as a backbone very easily.
What do you think about tipping at the checkout? We're living in Finland. The tipping culture in Europe isn't that strong. So do you see any useful ways how we can use the tipping?
Definitely. So if you have like some sort of like a good cause behind your business, that's actually a feature some of our clients have been looking for. So as example, they are a fashion brand with sort of like ethical background. They are giving away some of their profits to a organization that is taking care of ladies in countries where they are not treated that well, which by the way is like amazing. And now this gives the option that you can like collect some extra money if you are willing to pay something extra. And same goes with other of our merchants. They are now like utilizing local or international sports stars to support these like small local businesses. So they use these celebrities as marketing faces, just to support some local businesses and then local sports clubs as well. And they will need the money. So in this way, it's easy that you can sort of like get something extra in a very flexible and easy way when you enter the checkout. So I love the idea also in Europe.
I love the idea. I'm kind of skeptical that I want to see it in action. Will the people actually donate something, or is it kind of easier for the customer to buy it inside the service? So if they know that the price of the hoodie or the new gym bag is kind of already including 10%, which is going into some kind of charity organization or goodwill project, will they actually do some kind of additional tipping for good causes at the checkout? But we'll see. I think that's something we should try and then kind of figure out how the customers feel. And I think the more shops will use it, the more customers the customers will get used to kind of seeing the tipping function.
Definitely, and it hasn't been like actual possibility. There have been some cases with like PayPal that, hey, give me $1 or $2, but that has then like messed up the shopping process. But now it's done like flexible inside the process, so it's much easier. It looks nicer. So then we could estimate that could even like work. And then the other thing is that, as we know, it's all about the volume. So getting like €1 here and there, then it doesn't really matter if you just get like enough of mass going through your checkout. Then you might collect kind of a nice amount of money.
Agree. I think one of the bigger publications was that there's going to be updates on the Shopify POS, the POS system. Good ones and bad ones. I think the good ones were that without kind of any technical hassle, if I understood it correctly, the customers in future, they will be kind of able to pick, reserve, and then buy stock that's in the retail location, which I think it's a really good feature. If you have a look on the kind of even really big e-commerce shops that we have in local or even globally, it's kind of technically demanding that you can buy online some items that are somewhere on a shelf on a retail location. I think that's going to be perfect. But then the sad news is that Shopify POS, it's not going to be free anymore. So after November, October this year, it's going to be, I need to cheat it again, I think like $79 per month. So it's, if you have more than 2 or 3 locations, it's going to be costing you quite a lot. What do you think?
Right. Well, I would say that by average, looking at the whole POS, talking with the developers, meeting them like last summer in Toronto, I think that poses like a success story. So it works pretty well. Now the updated version has been very good, and all the merchants prior to the COVID situation were very, very happy with it. So I of course understand that they want to make money with the service, and it's seen as very good one when you need to be flexible, when you need to have pop-ups. But then of course, like in the future, interesting to see what happens even in this like whole world when we talk about like omnichannel. So that's something that is to be seen. I would say that already before October or November, and that will then like take into consideration that what will happen in the very future. Interesting to see the pricing. I would definitely want to learn more about that. So hopefully they will give us more insights soon.
Me too, and I have the comments that I made were based on the feelings that I have with the customer conversations, because there's some competition in the space already. So Shopify POS isn't the only POS that you can actually plug into Shopify and start using the system. But now it's a paid version, so kind of looking at pros and cons of the different systems, it's going to get even harder. And I feel that we need to do some picking and recommend the right setup for customers. But
definitely,
there's kind of a lot of things we could talk about the Reunite, but something regarding marketing. So Shopify announced that they're coming up in good cooperation with Facebook, the new Facebook shop. My guess is that you're not kind of too excited about it, but you feel that it's a good thing.
Yes, good thing for smaller merchants, smaller brands. They've done all sort of like cooperation also in the past, especially in America, but this is like mainly aimed at like smaller merchants, which then like the majority of like businesses on the planet are. So I feel that it's positive, but when it comes to like direct to consumer cases who actually are very serious about the brand, who are like seriously trying to learn more about the client and putting lots of effort on their Shopify Plus stores, then in that case, that isn't like big news, but just like maybe I would say that it's something that is good from Shopify. They are helping new brands to get online and new brands to find clients. So I see that as a very positive way. And then the cooperation between like Shopify and Facebook is interesting because they are now like promising us new features almost monthly. So I'm very curious to see what will happen. And what we have now noticed during COVID situation is that people are spending more time than ever on Facebook and Instagram. So interesting to see what happens in the future.
I think the new Facebook shop, it's mostly for beginners. So companies or people who don't know how to do the paid ads in a good enough level, they can rely on the kind of the branded Facebook shop and kind of do the organic posts and tag the products there and kind of hope that the customers will end up in their Facebook shop. But personally, I don't have an idea which one of my customers who would actually spend time in my Facebook shop. Either they're going to see the ad and come to the shop, do the purchase, or kind of browse around the content we have there, but not actually spend time in the Facebook shop. But
yes,
we talked about the shop app. I think it was the last episode or the episode before that, and we're gonna hear about some numbers. But we heard about some numbers already.
yes.
What were they?
it was said that it's been now downloaded more than 13 million times, and that's supposedly increasing a lot. And they promised us to give like more data and use soon. I've been using the app myself, and I freaking love it. So it has helped my daily life a lot. And I also like the feature that you have those tabs where you can then look at your favorites, your favorite Shopify stores, which are then like presenting the goods in a nice way. So it's very good, like after marketing channel. And when people start to utilize it more and more, it's interesting to see how popular it gets. So we're very, very curious about that. And they also said sort of in a side sentence that might include some new features in the future. So very, very looking forward to that.
13 million times that it's going to come to Europe as well, which would be perfect. And then when we get Shopify payments in the smaller countries as well, I think we're going to be close. And then Shopify overall will be looking better and better for most merchants.
Right.
I think the best part for the marketing part was that Google Shopping will be free before the end of this year in all countries for Shopify merchants. I think that's going to be huge. Even for small customers, you can easily spend thousands or tens of thousands in Google Shopping if you kind of do the feeds in all of the bigger countries that you have. So that's something that I'm really excited to hear, and it's kind of a good sign that Shopify has such close relations to Facebook and Google as well, that they can negotiate on these things and then make sure that Shopify merchants won't be kind of left hanging on the edge, and we can get all the features that we need to have in order to scale, and then not kind of have to pay on everything.
Definitely.
But a couple of things we could run quickly or spend a few minutes on would be that you love to talk about the performance, and
I do.
Supposedly we're going to have a new performance dashboard in Shopify, or was it in Shopify Plus?
Yes. So first of all, that's been a long run. I remember last summer when they announced that, hey, you will now have this fantastic new dashboard for Shopify Plus users, where you are able to control multiple stores at once. There have been many delays, as we know, but apparently now it's finally soon coming. And then one feature there was mentioned that you get this kind of like performance dashboard. You've seen those previews, and that should then like help you to find out that how are your landing pages performing, what's the site speed as one of the main topics. And they now announced that will soon come out, and I'm like super much looking forward to that. Nowadays it's been like very manual process. We've used like different dashboards, analytics software to find that out, and that's not being like user friendly. So all that comes with this performance dashboard should instantly help our merchants to make better decisions and run their business better. So that would be like Christmas for me.
And I love the idea about kind of having an open setup and then kind of see-through mentality. So if the merchants themselves can see that if their shop is performing or not, I think it's a way how Shopify can open up the dialogue, the kind of the downsides that we hear from Magento merchants is that Shopify is slow, that it doesn't perform well, and so on and so on. So if it's made visible for all, then I think we can be really open with the matter and then show that if you do good content, you don't run third-party scripts or apps in places where you shouldn't, you're going to be just fine.
Absolutely. And then the only thing I would say that what it's lacking, or what like Shopify Analytics still is lacking, is all the demographics data. So exactly. That's something as you as a merchant, you would like to know more about the demographics in some way. Now you know who is the person who has ordered, or where that person came from, but you would like to know more. And now you have to jump for that to Facebook or Google and try to find it out. But that would be very convenient that you could access that data from Shopify dashboard directly.
Perfect. With that note, I think there's a couple of features that I would love to see as well. The other is the new theme editor. Now it was published that it's gonna come. I think it's been delayed a few times already. But the people who are watching or listening, I don't know if you know about the new Shopify theme editor, but like if you have now a lot of flexibility on the front page, but you have just a few options how you can customize the product page, that's going to be history soon. So in the new version, how you can handle the theme is that basically all the sections you have in the theme, so basically the building blocks you have for the front page, those will be usable in all of the parts of the theme. So if you want to create a custom product page, you can use the sections you have in the theme already, or if you want to do customizations on the collection page, or if you want to build a landing page, you're probably not going to need a third-party application anymore, which is dedicated for the landing pages. You can just use the sections in any theme. But I think my guess is that Shopify is not the one who's kind of holding up with the development in the themes. I think it's the theme developers. It's kind of a lot of work for them that they can publish the new versions in the schedule that Shopify is kind of aiming for. And I think the other two things that I would want to see more, and the other one was already mentioned, was that kind of new pricing model or customizable products. So maybe in the future we're not selling any more units or pieces. We might sell meters or kilos, or we can use kind of different ways how we can price our products, which has been kind of a limiting factor. Or in the cases where we've done it in Woolman, we've kind of had to figure out some workaround ways how we can price per meter or do something kind of fixes in those limitations. And of course, wholesales. I don't think that we saw any announcements in the Reunite about wholesales, but kind of customer specific pricing and those basic options we would need in wholesales would be probably something I'm hoping to see in the next year. And being said, I know that these are simple features, but kind of if you have a look on Shopify at the moment, it's not missing that much, and kind of the hope list is starting to look like a ultimate dream list for any e-commerce solution. So being realistic with the hopes, I'm kind of slowly getting there, and like you said, that's kind of constantly keeping eye on the new updates and making sure that the things that they promise and come out with actually do become live, and the merchants can use them.
Definitely.
Did you have anything more you wanted to add on the list?
Yeah, maybe like the last thing, just like it's pretty obvious, but you almost forget it. So the fact that as we know, all the Shopify merchants, by average, they've gotten like lots of traffic. The traffic amounts have been very high. Still, Shopify has worked like beautifully. So at least from our merchants, almost no negative feedback when it comes to the actual functions. So we have to be like super positive and humble about that. So the platform delivers. It does what it promises, and it's not like something that I would have seen like as a merchant 5 to 10 years ago.
That's absolutely true. And like kind of looking at the customer cases we've done in the past months, they are really big companies who wanted to take their new divisions online that hadn't been online, and we could basically do it in a week or in 2 weeks. We played around with the Shopify buy button and kind of the features that there already are in place. So I have to agree on that even with these volumes that we see, it's been working really well. And I think that's a perfect note how we can end up episode number 8. Thank you for watching, everybody, and stay tuned for episode number 9.
Take care. Bye-bye.